This video is sponsored by KiwiCo. It's so bright! Welcome to my very dimly lit studio where today we're going to be talking about chemiluminescence, or chemicals that glow. Over the years, I've done a number of experiments and projects with glow sticks, and I think they're a ton of fun because, yeah, I mean, they're like made to be satisfying. You get to crack them and you hear it and you feel it, and then they start giving off light, which is pretty fun. And one of the coolest things about them is that they give off light and basically nothing else. They don't give off any heat, they don't create any sparks, they don't smell like anything, they're just glowing by themselves. And not a lot of light sources are like that. So the first question I want to try and answer, at least partially, is why does it do this? What is inside a glow stick that makes it do this? To find out, we should open one up. Here we have the contents of one of these large glow sticks, and while the proportions and the number of vials may change, it's the same general idea. There's a liquid that's just in this plastic tube. Also in the plastic tube with the liquid are going to be thin glass vials. These are designed to be cracked while still inside the plastic tube, letting the liquid in the vials mix with the liquid that's not in the vials. When the two liquids combine, you get glowing light. But that of course just brings you to the next question of, okay, so what's in the vials and what's in the other liquid? By volume, most of what's in them is just a solvent. It's an unreactive solvent that doesn't do anything to add to the glowing reaction. But within each is a little bit of just the right chemicals that do give you the glowing reaction. Now, one of the chemicals, I'm going to read the name off of my phone because, well, you'll see. It's called bis 2,4,5 trichloro 6 pentioxycarbonyl phenyl oxalate. It's called CPPO for short, thank goodness. So CPPO, in the other one, is hydrogen peroxide. And of course, like I said before, both of those are mixed with just carrier solvents that are not designed to help the chemical reaction along. So CPPO, crazy long weird chemical name, and hydrogen peroxide, but also very importantly, as you can see, this is not a nice clear color, this has a dye in it. This has coloring in it, and that actually matters. Now the dye in here, it's not like food coloring. Very importantly, it is a fluorescent dye, meaning if you add some energy to it in a few forms, like a black light, it will return that back in a slightly different spectrum of visible light. That's why this seems to be sort of putting off its own glow just by adding a black light to it. And all of the glow sticks I have will do that. Okay, we'll get back to the chemistry in a second. Let's do a little bit of an experiment. A lot of chemical reactions in this world are temperature dependent, and the one that happens in these glow sticks is no different. This glow stick, room temperature, just been sitting around in here. This one, I've been warming up in this hot water. Let's take a look at how these look when I crack them. I don't know about you, but to me it looks like the warm one is like double the brightness of the cold one, and that's not an illusion. The heat causes the reaction to happen faster. The total amount of light that's put out will be about the same, but it's going to all happen in a shorter period of time, so it won't last as long, but it's going to be a lot brighter. So while this is a fun way to get more light out of your glow sticks, it's gonna be at a cost. You can get more light out of it, but you're not gonna get the same longevity. This will definitely die out faster than this one. You can actually do the opposite as well. If you were to throw this in the freezer, it would basically stop glowing until you took it out and warmed it back up. But that was kind of boring on camera. So, this one's more fun. Glow sticks are also not like some weird, hard to get thing. Like you can get these at pretty much every department store. So anyone, adults or kids, can get their hands on these and try them out. I'm not saying you should cut them open and play with the chemicals inside, but it is cool that we have such an accessible way to see this really cool chemical reaction. Being able to do these chemistry experiments is genuinely a blast. Like, it's one of the parts of my job I really love. Tinkering around with chemistry or physics or electronics, it's all just pure fun to me. One of the biggest reasons you see me here doing experiments on my channel is because of my fascination with science, which I cultivated as a kid. So I gotta show you guys how the sponsor of today's video, KiwiCo, is providing amazing hands-on projects to get kids, both young and old, to discover the fascinating STEM world around them. This holiday season, you can give your kids an interactive, stimulating present from KiwiCo that teaches them the real science and lets them experiment with problem solving and engineering. For example, this astronaut starter kit is a fun project to learn about our solar system, rockets, space, and the science around those topics. And these kits aren't just a one-time thing. I love that these crates can be used and tinkered with long after the initial build, like launching this rocket outside with friends. or this kinetic light up speaker project that can be used as a Bluetooth speaker in your room, while also teaching you about sound, engineering, and physics. KiwiCo's holiday crates are perfect for sparking wonder and curiosity in lots of different ages and interests. Like the Koala crate, ages 3 to 6, helps little scientists discover basic science. The Tinker crate, ages 12 to 9, has fun experiments and engineering builds. Clearly, I'm a big supporter of anything that encourages kids to learn about science and art, and KiwiCo is making that happen this holiday season. Problem solving, building, learning through trial and error, it's all here with KiwiCo's crates, delivered directly to your door. KiwiCo crates make the perfect holiday gift, so if you're ready to spark a passion for STEM and hands-on discovery in your kids, I truly believe you will love KiwiCo. Use my code NATE to get 50% off your first monthly crate at kiwico.com/Nate. So now let's take a look at another kind of chemical reaction that's very similar that also gives off light. In this bottle I have a chemical called Luminol, which is mostly famous for being in like CSI type TV shows where they need to find blood spatter. And Luminol can be sprayed over an area that may have had blood on it at one point, and then they bring in like a black light and you can see little trace patterns of wherever there was blood spatter or something like that. And Luminol works in a very similar way to the glow stick chemicals. When the Luminol combines with hemoglobin in blood, it becomes something that is UV reactive. Like the dyes in the glow sticks, it will give off light in a visible spectrum when you hit it with ultraviolet light. But I don't want to create a lot of blood splatter, and I don't want to have light that's only visible when you're hitting with a UV light. I want to make it so that the light is just always visible. So instead of using blood and UV light, I'm just going to use chemical reactions very similar to what we have in the glow sticks. It's just a different combination of chemicals that have a similar result. So this, like I said, is Luminol. It also has sodium carbonate in it and some water to dissolve everything into. This right here is mostly water, but it does have a tiny bit of household bleach, just the stuff you use for your laundry, but it's very diluted. At this point, this is probably a 1 or 2% solution of the bleach, and that should be the perfect amount to react with our Luminol. Okay, I'm just gonna start by pouring some of the bleach water into this pan. There's some. And now this is a spray nozzle, which the reviews on Amazon say is a really low quality spray, but we're gonna try it anyway, see if we get a result. Okay. Yeah, it's not a great spray nozzle, but it is working. Our Luminol is getting sprayed out onto the bleach, and it's glowing. Works better to just drip it in rather than spray it on. Transferring some of the Luminol into this nice little squeeze bottle, we can actually just squirt some of it directly into the bleach water. That should be fun too. So back to the chemical reaction of what is happening in the glow sticks between our two liquids here. Hydrogen peroxide is honestly pretty destructive stuff. We use it in a really light 3% concentration for a lot of, first aid type stuff. The bottles that you can buy most places that sell it are very diluted. Like I said, 3% and the rest of it's just water. But it still is, like I say, rather destructive. It likes to tear stuff apart. And one of the things that is really good at tearing apart is that CPPO chemical that's in the other side of the glow stick. When it tears that CPPO chemical apart, what's left is a bunch of very unstable chemicals. Those chemicals in turn will quickly break down because they're so unstable, and they will release energy, which is quickly gobbled up by the dye. The fluorescent dye that I was saying is chemically important because the fluorescent dye picks up that extra energy from those collapsing unstable chemicals. They go into a state with heightened electrons, but only momentarily, like so fast we can't really process it. And when it releases that extra energy, it does so in the form of light. According to sources on the internet that are not incredibly reliable, the first public use of glow sticks was in 1971 at a Grateful Dead concert. couple of people brought in a box of a few hundred of them. And they just started cracking them and throwing them, and soon they were everywhere in the whole crowd, and a bunch landed on stage even, and the band members like, holy crap, these are cool. Like I said, I haven't verified that that story is true, and I'm not sure how I would, but that is the story about the first time the public saw glow sticks. So again, the breakdown of the chemical reaction. Chemical 1 goes into chemical 2 and breaks it apart. What chemical 2 turns into is very unstable and breaks down even more. As it does so, it gives energy to the dye mixed into chemical 1. The dye takes that energy up, but then quickly loses it again. It's not a stable position with more energy, so it just gets it really quick and then lets go of it, and when it lets go of it, it does so in the form of visible light. Now, once upon a time, when I was making videos for the King of Random, I was doing some experiments with glow sticks, and I was trying to mix glow stick fluid with another liquid. I think it was a water, and they don't like to mix. I thought maybe if I add soap, that will act as a bit of an emulsifier. That could let me combine the two together. It didn't make the two combine together, but it did have a very unexpected reaction. This is just a few drops of Dawn dish soap and some stirring. It gets a whole lot brighter. The camera is exaggerating the effect somewhat. It doesn't actually look like lava is about to melt through my workbench, but it does look really cool, and it's fun to watch it get a lot brighter when I stir. Now, I have looked around online to find an explanation for why this happens, and I have not found anything definitive. Nothing that says like, oh, chemists have looked at this reaction and this is the reason. As best as I can find, the reason is that the soap actually does a good job of allowing the two chemicals to mix together. I talked earlier about how the two main chemicals by volume in a glow stick are inert. They're not doing anything to cause this reaction. Well, in fact, they may be doing the opposite. They're often added in specific ratios to help prevent the chemical reaction from going on, because if it happens too quickly, you'll just kind of get a large bit of light and then they're gone. But glow sticks sold to the public are supposed to be fun to have and play with. Like, this is like a party toy. And it's not supposed to just go out in 30 seconds. Some of those chemicals in here are supposed to slow down the reaction, and soap might just be cutting through those, allowing the two important chemicals, the hydrogen peroxide and the CPPO, to react a lot better and more efficiently. And when they do that, they put off a lot more light, but at the expense of time. This will go dull and stop glowing a lot faster than this stick that I have not added anything to. In fact, it already is. It's losing power. It's getting dim. It's not really dim, but it's not very bright anymore. Also, as a quick side note, when I posted a short saying that I had discovered that reaction with the soap, I had a number of comments saying that no, I most certainly had not discovered it, that they'd seen it on the internet for years. But no one could point me to a source that went farther back than when I had first done it on the King of Random. And some people claimed that they had seen it as a reaction shown off in their school when they were kids or something, and that might be true. I could very, very easily not be the first person to do this demonstration, but I haven't found any evidence of it. So if you have any verifiable proof of anyone doing this reaction before me, I would love to see it. Please link it down in the comments. You get different colors of glow sticks, of course. You've probably seen them in all sorts of colors before, and this pack comes with orangey yellow, green, and a nice blue. My pink one is dying again. These really aren't that bright. The yellow and the green are usually the brightest. The red and the blue are usually not so bright. The different colors of dyes, which are what bring in that extra little bit of energy and then put it off in a visible light, well, those are what determine both the color and the brightness, because some colors are inherently less bright than other because of what dye is being used to give them their color. Some colors, like the reds, use a rhodamine-based dye, and some, like the greens, use an anthracene-based dye. Greens are going to be green, but they're also going to do a really good job of putting off a lot of visible light. Reds are going to be red, but they aren't quite as good at taking up that energy and putting it off as visible light. So reds are pretty much inherently going to be less visible and less bright than green colors. Now, my yellows and greens seem to be the brightest, and I want to do some experiments to see just how bright I can get it to go. And so I'm going to harvest all of my yellows and greens at once. Special thank you shout out to Edwin A. Chandros, the man credited with discovering the chemical reactions that make glow sticks possible. A lot of that research was inspired by fireflies, trying to figure out how it was they were able to put off light without creating a lot of heat. After the chemist Chandras had come up with a reaction, his reaction was not very good. It was quite dull. Like compared to these, it was way, way less vibrant and bright. His work was picked up by a Michael M. Rauhut, whose name I hope I'm not destroying too badly, who went on to help develop glow sticks as we know them today. Can use this skillet to make some very spicy eggs. All right, let's see how these do outside of a glow stick. I already know that it works. All right, now combining several things that we have tried here. We know that heat makes the reaction more vibrant, and we know that a little bit of dish soap makes the reaction more vibrant. So I'm going to be adding some already glowing fluid into hot water with dish soap in it. Look how bright that is as it drops down. Gosh, that is crazy. Do it again. It's already definitely glowing in the tube, but when it hits the hot water, it starts glowing a lot more. Kind of doing its own lava lamp thing. That's fun. See how much brightness we get out of our red color, which is not as bright as the green, but I bet it does something cool. Yeah, as it heads on down, you can see it pick up some brightness for sure. Let's give this a little stir. Okay, it reacted, but now it's getting dim. Let's see, just make sure the chemical that's in there that's used up its reaction, if we add more, it glows just as bright as it did at first. Hot water does a lot to speed up the chemical process, and so it puts off a lot more light. But we can speed it up even more than that, like on a hot stove. All right, that's enough of that. Okay, I think it's time we mix all of our remaining glow fluid and see how bright we can really get it to go. Whew. She bright. That looks really cool, but I think we can get even brighter. Still got some hot soapy water. I want a side by side so we can see how much brighter it actually gets. Oh, that's so cool. It's like a lantern, but look, it's already dying out. It goes that fast, and then it's just like, I can't anymore. Poof, out of energy. All right, I've got a good amount of glow stick fluid. This is like several glow sticks worth of fluid right here. I'm just gonna add in some soap and stir it up and see how bright we can get it. It's like a light bulb. Da, 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 da. Wow. That is a light you could navigate by for a couple of minutes until the glowing all went away, of course, because the soap makes it super bright, but it does make it go really fast. Add in a little, I don't know, at this point I'm just, oh, there you go. The hot soapy water. Ah, it's so bright. It's so bright, but it's so fast that like, even as it's getting brighter, you can already like see the first stuff that goes in start to dim just because it goes away so quickly. All right, pouring all the rest of you in. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Look at that. Look at it. It's brilliant. What a cool color gradient we have going on. All right, guys, I hope you learned something today about chemiluminescence. I love glow sticks. I think they're a ton of fun. If there's anything else you want to see me do with them, let me know down in the comments. As always, a huge thank you shout out to all of our supporters on Patreon. You guys are amazing, and if anyone out there is interested in joining my amazing supporters, the link for my Patreon is also in the description.